Good afternoon to everyone and good afternoon to our instructor, Ma'am Nihad Abdullah Sabiwang. I am Jaynard Tumbaga, the first presenter of the fourth group topic, pricing. Why is pricing so important? Bukod sa product or produkto, ang pricing ay isa sa mga mahalagang tuon ng marketing pagdating sa business. Dahil dito po makikita yung cost, value, or pag-increase ng sales every day. In addition, pricing also determines its impact to the customer's benefit. So here po, according to the book, our mantra is that marketing is the exchange of benefits and costs between the customer and the company. Yet most of the marketing 4Ps are focused outward, with the company attempting to deliver value to the customer by making a good product, making it available through accessible channels, and communicating the product's benefits clearly. Its price, though, that provides a company mechanism for obtaining value back from customers. In general po, both customer at company ang magbe-benefit ng given price and how much they cost to a specific product. Customers or consumer always rely on the price set by a company for them to avail a product. So the question here po, how do you know if the price is right? So, marketers need to know how to set prices. Whether the brand positioning is at low end or high end, prices must be set accordingly. So dito naman po, marketers have to understand customers' perceived prices and price changes like promotions. In other terms, very sensitive yung ating mga customers. Pagdating sa pagpili ng gusto nilang bilhing product, they tend to be wise at all. So the company should. Lalo na pagdating sa pagpapalit presyo ng produktong at papaano mahikayat ang mga customer. Next is the background of supply and demand. Supply is a product available in the market, while the demand is our consumers, our customers, and our buyers. Makakapag-set ng price ang isang company based on the supply available in the market. And here, magkakaroon ng isang company ng massive demand depende sa kung papaano nila maipromote and set ang presyo ng kanilang product. You learned in economics that demand tends to fall off as price goes up. We will discuss the figure 9.1 but later na lang po. If a firm prices its brand too low, they could probably raise prices and pull in more money, or also known as the better margins and profitability. Better margins and profitability, meaning to say, ang company po ay dapat aware sa kung papaano papatok ang kanyang produktong ibebenta. Pagka mag-set po ang company ng high price but the brand isn't level with its price, may tendency na malulugi or walang bibili sa product. But if a company will set a low brand price po, company will probably raise money and pull in more money din po. Next, if brand is priced too high, generally sales drop off. So if prices are adjusted downward, then the volume of sales would pick up. And again, the company could pull in more money, or also known as better demand and greater volume in unit sales. This means that after nung company yung magiging benefit po ng isang consumer. They set a price that their tanky liquors could probably afford. With that, tataas po ang sales income ng isang company. Proceeding to figure 9.1, the demand curve or line. Pricing is easier to change than the other marketing mix variables. For example, imagine changing the product itself, the communications, or the partners in the supply chain. But it is still more complicated than it sounds. In this figure, it takes more about major approaches to pricing. Sinasabing madaling magpalit ng presyo kumpara po doon sa ibang marketing mix variables o yung kasapi sa 4Ps which are product, place, at promotion. So in other words, talagang hindi po madaling magpalit ng product, lalo na po if for example your business is a franchise po. Kailangan mong makipag-communicate doon mismo sa supplier ng franchise mo regarding with that matter. Di lang dahil sa proseso, kundi sa iba pang complications na pwedeng maganap. Kaya po, mas mahalaga din accordingly yung pricing policies na systematically planned para makadecide ang isang company sa pag-set ng price. Figure 9.2, pricing strategies. Highlights po dito is very common factor ng isang business. which is competitive pricing is somewhere in between, using competitors' prices as a starting point and adjusting from there. Halimbawa po nito, based sa mga situations commonly sa mga businesses, pwede mong gamitin as a strategy is to level your price to other competitor to gain sales at pwede na yun as a starting point for you to be recognized. And when pumatok na siya, you can slowly raise price if alam mong maging mabenta at afford ito ng iyong mga customers. Note that the C's of marketing directly affect pricing. The costs inherently to company help determine the low price point. The customer sense of product's value help determine the high price point. And what the competition charges helps determine a sensible intermediate price point. Once you establish these three benchmarks for your brand, it is a strategic move to choose among them. Ito po ay usually talagang nangyayari. So, company should always consider the other C's that will affect their set of pricing. Lalo na pag sa competition is dapat po ay mindful ang isang company for them to move with their strategies. When a company offer a low price po, possibly get more sales as to raising too much high price can lose the income in just a snap of time. On the other hand, pricing is not just about making money. Yung company ay laging iniisip yung magiging result ng price setting nila at yung ibe-benefit ng kanilang customers, including positioning, branding, how to interconnect and level with their competitors, and most of all is knowing how to collaborate. So as the picture shows below, let's start with the company, the next the competitor, and up to the customer. So yung arrow na nakikita nyo is yan yung nagre-represent as pricing. So if a company is basing to the cost or kung ano yung magiging expenses nila, the price of their product, it could be a markup. The next is the competitor. Kaya siya nilagay sa middle because of a company is leveling their price or either tinataasan nila yung price nila kaysa doon sa kakompete nila. Pero nakakadepende pa rin naman yun kung magiging affordable ba yun or tatangkilikin yun ng kanilang mga customer. So it is price is equals to competitor and it's a fudge factor. So it's always been a problem or a conflict between a business or doon sa isang company. Kasi palagi nilang iniisip kung paano nila tataasan yung price nila and to compare it to the other competitor. At iniisip nila kung paano sila mag-stand out. Then the last is the customer, which is the high-end or the high-end price. Customer willingness to pay is considered markdown. Kaya siya nagiging markdown kasi masyadong mataas yung presyo. If a company is setting as too much high price, so ang tendency, yung willingness ng customer na bumili is mawawala. Kasi nga, nagre-rely lang sila doon sa price ng product na ibinebenta mo. Then you are deciding to set the price too high. Then, dahil doon, mawawalan ka ng benta or hindi ka makakagains ng more sales. It's as important as any of the other P's in terms of sending a signal to customers, companies, competitors, and collaborators regarding the positioning and image of the brand. You're sending a message to these constituencies: we're low price, a good value, or just cheap, or we're expensive, exclusive, or just overpriced. Clearly, your price affects your profitability. If we define profit as like this, then profits increase as price increase. Per demand function in figure 9.1, however, demand typically falls off with those price increase. Furthermore, pricing strategies isn't more about making money, kundi you're calling your customers' attention to avail your product. But always put in your mind that you already set those essential factors for your product to be well attractive. It's affordability and having an effective way of advertising your product. Moreover, ayon sa iba't ibang ipinakitang paraan ng paghihikayat, ay kapag tinataasan ang presyo ng karaniwang produkto, ay tataas din ang tubo nito. Instead po na nag-i-increase yung demand na inaasahan ng isang business ay nagdi-decrease due to pag-high pricing. So, don't cut prices but increase customers' benefits. These questions suggest that also precise looking line in figure 9.1 has has some wiggle room. Officially, that wiggle room is known as elasticity or price sensitivity. One way elasticity has been described is like this. If the company drop prices, there should be a volume increase or more units are sold. Elasticity o price sensitivity, ito po yung pag-drop price ng isang company na dapat po ay mataas ang kikitain at layuning maubos ang mga produktong ibebenta. Katulad lang po sa figure 9.1 na binibase sa consumers yung pagpapalit o pag-set ng presyo. Another popular interpretation of elasticity is from a consumer's point of view. If there is a price drop or increase, just how much does demand or units sold increase or decrease? If demand is barely affected, the demand is inelastic. If demand bounces around, it's stretchy and elastic. Or meaning, kung mag-price drop ba ang company ng mataas, ay ganun din ba kadami yung mas sold out ng customers? Kung apektada po yung consumers, consider that demand is inelastic. Whereas, if consumers can afford and more units ang sold out sa produkto mo, ang demand po ay elastic. Now, the demand scenarios will discuss about how pricing is being affected by elasticity by simply identifying if it is elastic demand or inelastic demand. More technically, in figure 9.3, we see two demand scenarios. In the left plot, demand is relatively elastic. The slope is flatter than in the right plot. When the price is $7, the number of units sold is 10, for a total revenue of $70. If we drop prices to $4, we'd sell 40 units. So yes, with the price drop, we more than made up the original revenue of $70. We'd say that demand is elastic. So how do we know if the demand is elastic? Then let's focus first on the left plot shown in the picture. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung slope is flatter compared sa right plot. This is because, as what has been mentioned earlier, the company begins its price at $7. From that, the company sold 10 units and gained $70. Pero hindi nang hinayang si company. Nag-price drop siya ng $4 and what happened is, the company gained $160. So, tumaas yung sales income niya. Kahit nagsimula siya sa mahal na presyo, pero he gave his trust to lower its price and nakagain naman ng malaking kita. Demand is elastic because customers sold those units in its affordable price. As of knowing if paano maging inelastic ang demand, ay ganito po. If gagawin natin yung kagaya sa first scenario, mag-price drop po tayo ng $7 and magbebenta po tayo ng 35 units. And yes, malaki yung kikitain kasi it is amounting to $245. But we use the same strategy po. Binabaan natin yung presyo ng product natin into $4. Kasi iniisip natin is the same yung magaganap na mas makakagain tayo ng malaking halaga. But sadly, with that price drop, we only sold 40 units and it is amounting to only $160. So walang pagbabago yung demand po natin. Kaya po siya nagiging inelastic is because hindi nag-increase yung inaasahan nating demand o consumers. At dahil sa pag-price drop, ay nawalan po tayo ng $3 difference. So this is important to consider with that sometimes price setting must be connected with the interest of the customer sa ino-offer mong goods or services. Examples po nito is sporting events and musical concerts. Kasi po, aanhin nyo yung mababang presyo kung hindi interesado yung customer sa ino-offer mong goods and services. In figure 9.3, we see that elasticity is characterized differently depending on the slope of the lines. Indeed, elasticity is defined by the slopes. Elasticity is defined as the proportion change in quantity compared to the proportion change in price. Elasticity is always computed to be negative, so the negative signs are just ignored, they're a given. The capital E is assessed if capital E is greater than 1. As in the left plot, demand is said to be elastic. Price and revenue go in opposite directions. With a price drop, revenues shoot up. With a price increase, revenues fall off. If 0 is less than or equal to capital E and capital E is less than 1, as in the right plot, demand is inelastic. Revenue follows price in the same directions. If price goes up, revenues goes up. If price goes down, so do revenues. And lastly, if capital E is equal to 1, demand is said to be unitary. Price goes up or down, but revenues remain about the same. So, here's the end of my topic. Thank you so much, everyone, and once again, good day.
Good day everyone, and especially to you ma'am. I am Farnesa M. Guedel from BSBA-MK 1C. So today, I'll be discussing what is a good value. Value in marketing means customers perceive value. So we have value pricing sometimes means low. Ito yung good prices, good deal, and inexpensive. And sometimes means high. It is the price customers are willing to pay kasi mas pinapahalagan nila yung value ng isang product. Kahit gaano pa po ito kamahal, bibilhin at bibilhin po nila yung isang product because of its value. For the purchase of almost everything, there are very likely to be these two segments. Brand loyal customers are in plastic, less price sensitive, and they'll buy our brand no matter what the price. In construct, the price sensitivity segment is quite elastic and deal prone, and they will run to a competitor or even drop out of the category when we raise prices. Profit is often denoted as profit. Market shares are often depicted in pie chart, round figures with the sizes of slices representing a brand's proportion of sales in the marketplace. Price sensitivity should increase when price formation is usually available to customers to compare across competing brands. Thus, the internet is having an interesting effect on prices for many times. Price comparisons are easier online than driving from store to store, and it particular shopping booths such as bizret.com facilitate easy and quick comparison. Profit is a term that often describes the financial gain or yung tutubuin mo sa isang business. Low prices. Regarding two prices, there are two issues. First, how do we determine whether costs are covered? The second pricing issue is whether low prices are constant strategic choice, such as everyday low prices providers or EDLPs, who position themselves around good value in the minds of customers. Everyday low price is a price strategy promising consumers a low price without the need to wait for sale price events or comparison shopping. Why go low? Low prices points come from: first is we have cost plus pricing, the markup average cost. So the low cost marketing strategy is a way for startups to use marketing strategies that have a low impact on their budget. This allows them to focus their funds on the other important business areas while still generating leads and getting their brand out there. What is the average markup price? Since markup is the difference between the selling price and the cost of the product, there is no such thing as an average markup price. Rather, there is an average markup percentage, which is typically 50%. The second is loss leaders. Sell below cost to bring in customers who will purchase every product. A loss leader is a pricing strategy where a product is sold at a price below its market cost to stimulate other sales of more profitable goods or services. Example: sold at a low price to attract customers. The third is market penetration. Price low to attract volume. The fourth is early in the product life cycle to generate buzz and demand. The fifth is late in the product life cycle to milk profit before the brand dies. And lastly, nearly predatory, priced low enough to discourage competitors. To make sure you can stay in business, covering cost sets the absolute minimum floor on pricing. The cost plus pricing is simply computed per unit as unit cost. So the cost plus pricing formula is calculated by adding material, labor, and overhead cost and multiplying it by 1 plus markup amount. Concept in action, break even for good. So a break-even analysis is a means of figuring out on how many units you've had to sell before you make back your cost. A break-even can be computed in terms of number of units sold or monetary values. So our profit defined as profit equal price minus variable cost times demand minus fixed cost. If we just break even, profit would be zero at a level of demand that we will call BE. That's it. The last term, price minus variable cost, is also called contributions per unit to fixed cost. The contribution per unit to fixed cost is calculated by subtracting the variable cost per unit from the selling price per unit.
Good day everyone, I'm Raihan Maimagchok. So I will discuss the cost for portfolio business, break even for portfolio business, cost for tablet customization business, and break even for tablet customization service business.
Cost for portfolio business. Figure 9.5 breaks down the basic costs include a modest income for your friend, some marketing and administrative costs, and rental space, maybe a small office in a shopping mall or on campus. So the variable costs are listed as well as 75 for portfolio and 5 for the invoicing. The bottom figures show it would cost to sell 30, 60, 90, or 120 portfolios per month. In this table, we're gonna see the fixed cost, variable cost, and total cost for quantity portfolio sold. So in the fixed cost, this is your friend's salary, marketing, admin, and space, rental, utilities, and part-time help. So your friend's salary is 1,000. So sa marketing, admin naman is 350. And sa space, rental, utilities, and part-time help is 650. So ang total niya is 2,000. So sa variable cost naman is leather portfolio and embossing. Sa leather portfolio is 75 and sa embossing is 5. So ang total is 80. The cost for quantity portfolio sold. So, sa fixed cost is ang total is 2,000. So, first we're gonna solve the 30. So, ang mangyayari niyan is 30 ita-times natin siya sa variable cost which is ang total is 80. So, mangyayari dyan is 2,000 plus 30 times 80. So, ang total cost for quantity portfolio sold is 4,400. 60. 2,000 plus 60 times 80 is equal to 6,800. And the next is 90. So 2,000 plus 90 times 80 is equal to 9,200. So sa 120 naman is 2,000 plus 120 times 80. So is equal to 11,600. Break even for portfolio business. Figure 9.6 begins with revenues generated, which is you keep learning a function of price and demand. So at the max lower right of the table, if we could sell about 4 portfolios a day, can we? And if people would pay 140 for it, would they? We could make 16,800. Cost for tablet customization business. Figure 9.7 shows the variable cost. In the previous example of the portfolio, there were variable costs as well, but they were similar than for this tablet example. It costs their store staff time to load the software, given their salaries and their time. Say that average out about 30 a tablet, and the store must maintain legal licensing fees on a variety of software package. Say this is roughly 3 a tablet. Total monthly variable cost naman is ipa-plus natin yung total ng labor at saka licensing, which is yung 450 plus 45. So ang total monthly variable cost niya is 495. Tsaka yung 900 plus 90, that is 990. And 1,350 plus 135 is 1,485. And 1,800 plus 180 is 1,980. So that is the total monthly variable cost. So dito naman tayo sa total cost, fixed and variable. So, di ba, given na dyan yung fixed cost, which is 2,000. Ang mangyayari dyan is ipa-plus lang natin yung fixed cost sa variable. Itong total monthly variable cost. So, 495 plus 2,000 is magiging 2,495. And then, 990 plus 2,000 magiging 2,990. And then, 1,485 plus 2,000 is 3,485. And the last is 1,980 plus 2,000 is 3,980. Table below, the fixed cost is 2,000. So the number of sold is 15, 30, 45, and 60. So ang variable cost naman is andyan yung labor is 30 and licensing is 3. So ang mangyayari dyan is 30 times 15 is equal to 450. So 30 times 30 is 900. So 30 times 45 is 1,350. and then 30 times 60 is 1,800. So, sa licensing naman is 3 times 15 is 45, and 3 times 30 is 90, and 3 times 45 is 145, and 3 times 60 is 180. Break even for tablet customization service business. In figure 9.8 shows possible income depending on price and demand. So, nakadepende yan siya. So, in the table below, meron siyang number of serve. So, meron siyang 15, 30, 45, and 60. And then, yung nasa baba naman, may cash inflow, revenue, and sales. So, ang cash inflow is ita-times lang natin siya sa number of served, which is yung 15, 30, 45, and 60. So, for example is 30 times 15 is equals to 450. And 30 times 30 times is equal to 900. And 30 times 45 is equal to 1,350. And 30 times 60 is 1,800. Ganun din sa revenue. Ita-times mo din siya sa number of served. So nandiyan ang mga total. 50 times 15 is 750. 50 times 30 is 1,500, and 50 times 45 is 2,250, and 50 times 60 is 3,000. So, sa sales, ganun din, ita-times naman siya sa number of served. So, 100 times 15 is 1,500. And 100 times 30 is 3,000, and 100 times 45 is 4,500, and 100 times 60 is 6,000.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Ronel. This is the continuation of our report. So, my topic is all about the figure 9.9, which is the break-even for tablet customization service for business. So, as what you see in the given table, so we have a number observed, the sales, the total, and also the cost. So, let's take a look at the money would make or not. First note, the $30 is just a totally ridiculous baseline. We'd lose money fast, and as we service more machine, we'd lose even more money. If we charge $50, we're still not doing well. Increase the charge a little more to $100, and we can make money if we cost 30 ebook readers or more. As what you see, the number observed, we have 15, 30, 45, and 60. So we have a sales of $30. We have a cost of $100, so the total of $50,050. So BEP, or the break-even point. So how we get that? BE or P, or break-even point. So the unit minus the, for example, minus equals by the fixed cost 2,000. So divided by 100 minus 33 is equals to 29.85. Okay? So in the break-even point, using the given example, first we find the break-even point in unit by dividing in the fixed cost by the contribution margin. So let's proceed. So for BE fixed cost, price minus variable cost is equals to, as what I mentioned, equals to 2,000, which is the fixed cost. And we have a $100. And as what you see, we have an 30 labor and also the 3 licensing per ebook for the total of 833, right? So the answer that would be definitely 29.85. So let's proceed to the find. So let's proceed. So since the table customers are integers, that the numbers of unit to we need to sell to break even be usually computed in terms of that quantity we need to sell. So specifically 29.85 times $100 for 2,985, right? So finally, we can of course have a profit target, not just the break even point where profit is minus zero. So to incorporate that goal, we would say target profit, price, variable cost, and demand. So minus fixed cost. So the BE is equals to fixed cost plus target profit price equals variable cost. Okay? So let's proceed in the figure 10, which is the break-even service. If we service $100, so as what you see in the given the graph, so to construct the graph, how we construct the graph, we plot unit on a horizontal. As what you see, the unit there is the horizontal axis, and as what you see, the dollars is the vertical axis. So we have the vertical axis dollar, the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 to 6,000, that is dollar. And our unit is the number of purchase, which is the 15, 30, 45, and the 60, right? So how we so we have, as what you see in the Mastercards for the Mastercard commercial, like, okay? So in show 10, the break-even goal in terms of a linear function, from which we may interpolate the number of units sold from the horizontal axis and the money both cost and the revenue. From the vertical axis, at what I mentioned, the first horizontal line in the graph itself show the fixed cost, okay? So it will be the steady across all numbers of units. So of course, because it is a fixed, right? So the line labeled that I mentioned, that is the total cost include this fixed cost and have an increasing slope because they also reflect the variable cost, which increase with numbers of units produced and sold. So the revenue line in our is our income, and the point of which this line intersects the total cost line in a break-even point, as we just computed right at 30. So B analysis to be performed. So every price decision to understand the lower bound. So let's take for now to the upper bound, right? So as what I mentioned, so always in the break even, the rule of the break even, if service fee is 100, in the left side on our vertical or the dollars in dollars, the total cost is higher than total revenue. So the point where intersect, that is the break even point, okay? So after that, in the left side, which is the plot unit on the horizontal axis, always remember that after the breaking even, total revenue is greater than total cost. So this region constitute profit, okay? So in the left side, that is our losses, and the right side, that is our revenue or our profit. So let's proceed in the high prices. So what is high prices? The MasterCard commercial that end with a priceless are great fun, but most of us an upper limit on what we pay for many items. The trick for marketers are to discover the upper band and the price just below it. Okay? So as what I mentioned, as what you see in the given formula, we have the percent change in sales, that is the PS or the P, and the P1, then P2. So what is the price sensitivity? Okay, that is our, this is our formula. So for example, I was given the example, we have the how to get the price sensitivity. So for example, our commodities. What is our commodities? For example, the first example, that is our commodities like bread, rice, and water. Okay? So, even na mataas po yung ano natin, yung presyo ng isang produkto, as long as that is a daily essential, kumbaga kailangan natin daily needs. So, bread and water. Usually, kahit na mataas yung presyo ng mga ganyang produkto, talaga yung tao is bumibili, 'di ba? Kasi that is our daily needs, kasi kailangan natin yan siya for our daily lives, 'di ba? Para nang sa ganon is makasustain tayo and mabubuhay tayo. So talagang kahit mahal, talagang bibili ka kasi yung water, rice, and bread, ganon, is kailangan talaga siya. For the price sensitivity example, yung pangalawa natin is the on how to lower a products, which is, that is example, that is their cellphone. 'Di ba? Pag bumimili yung tao ng cellphone, usually ang gusto nila is dapat is mababa yung presyo niya. Pero naman, dapat kino-consider din natin o nila yung halaga o yung quality ng isang produkto. So, the third example, that is our price sensitivity. Like, for example, we going to buy a bag, like the Chanel bag, which is ano ba, mahal yung bag na Chanel. So, the price sensitivity is almost null, okay, on the luxurious product, because they will na iisipin na kung ano yung mahal ba yung produkto na yun, mahal ba yung binili na bag, because that is just kumbaga gusto lang talaga nilang bilhin because of their kagustuhan lang nila talaga, para nang sa ganun is magkaroon sila ng bag na Chanel. Okay? So, let's proceed. In the using scanner data in a marketing manager working on consumer package could has the look area of working with scanner data, which can yield very precise estimate on demand and price sensitivity at numerous points. Scanner data includes indicator of which brand are brought, the quantities, both the shelf price, the others, and the paid price lead to whether a coupon was used and the price is competitor's brand the week of flag whether any of the brands were. Usually as a marketer o as a manager, dapat wini-work natin yung consumer package, 'di ba? Usually yung goods natin, mas yung tao minsan bumabase sila sa kung ano yung logos, 'di ba? Magbabase tayo kung ano yung itsura ng binibili natin, 'di ba? So, usually para nang sa ganun is yung mas mapapadali yung pagkukuha natin ng scanner data, dapat nilalagyan natin sa ng mga barcode, 'di ba? Then dapat is nasa nasa tama lang din yung presyo niya. Tapos dapat yung the quantities both is sales price are object to paid price, 'di ba? So, in using survey data also, the 4B using data, which is even though we don't need the scanner data. So, gaya nga ng sabi nila, so dapat we're going to use the WPT, which is the customer willingness to pay. So, imagine as a server in which some annual online banking service was described and consumer are asked, diba? So, like we have a question 1, which is the $25 definitely will buy. The 1 to 7 will definitely would buy. The question also number 2 will same. At $33, for example, I definitely will not buy. The 1 to 6 to 7 definitely would buy. Diba? So, price has as you can. So, always remember this. High price point come from. So, that I mean customer willingness to pay, then price right now. Below the sensitivity point, bright high for margin, not worrying about volume. The market's giving strategy offense. Used early in the life cycle of a high-end brand to heighten its sense of exclusivity. So, price high due to real quality differences of true variety. Okay? So, always remember, the higher the demand, the higher the price. So, the higher the offer, the lower the price. So, ibig sabihin, the more na kinakailangan, the more na trending, at the more na in demand yung isang produkto, the more na mataas yung presyo niya. Kung the more na marami na may nag-o-offer, the more marami yung stock, kumbaga, the more yung marami yung supplier, dapat the more na mababa din yung presyo niya. So, that will be all and thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmates. So, ang topic po na ibinigay sa akin ay ang conjoint analysis. Conjoint analysis. More than surveys, marketing managers' favorite tool to study pricing is conjoint. In a conjoint study, customers are shown product with various combination of features and attributes. Price being one of them, the customer are asked, which combination do you prefer most? Then, next, most, and so on, or $3.99. A store brand drink of the same variety is offered at the same price points. What is meant by conjoint analysis? Conjoint analysis can be defined as a popular survey-based statistical technique used in market research. It is the optimal approach for measuring the value that consumers place on features of a product or service. For example, in Figure 9.11, a Red Bull class energy drink is offered in a 4-pack for $2.99. Two different kinds of segment preferences are represented in the figure. Both segment least preferred the third choice would be the red one at the cheaper price. Hound boot would clear the store band at the higher price. What here per his immense is with they value the brand or price more. On the let storages. This wants the brand and who is willing to pay more. On the right is a customer number reach it's a good deal and give up the brand to retain the lower price. What are the 6 basic steps in a conjoint analysis? 1. Select product attributes to be included. 2. Select the product's attributes level to be included. 3. Create the product profiles. 4. Collect the data from target customers. 5. Estimate the utility, also referred to as part worth, of the product attributes and level using a regression analysis. 6. Analyze the results. The two main types of conjoint analysis. 1. Choice-based conjoint or CBC. 2. Analysis and adaptive conjoint analysis or ACA. Pricing in the middle. Midpoint prices come from seeing what competitors price at and adjusting according to corporate and brand strategy. Price higher if you offer more benefits or brand equity. Wish to enhance image. Price a little lower if you wish to perceive as good value. What's neat about the conjoint approach is that customers aren't ever directly asked about price. So the method obviates the customer's natural inclination to say, I want to pay less. What is middle price strategy? Mid-range pricing strategies are the most common type you see in mass market goods because they seek to find a middle ground compromise between all competing factors: cost versus revenues, quality versus value, demand versus competition. What is mid-level pricing? Mid-range price is the range where a product would be considered middle of the road or average price. Units or revenue, volume or profits. There is, of course, a difference between maximizing the number of units sold to produce volume versus maximizing revenue or profits. Figure 9.12 illustrates the comparison among cell phone calling plans. For a similar package of minutes data, AT&T Mobile positioning via price, place, and promoting Sprint are fighting over a particular city. AT&T leads on monthly. MES 45° and T-Mobile Antinir Circus Iris AT&T. Charges is T-Mobile charges $3.49. And Sant Ching's a user revenue. The picture is that ABCT still lead Burr. Sprint does better than T-Mobile because it changes. Profit equals revenue. Expense and revenue equals price and quantity sold. Then to maximize profit, we need to find a price where any further increase in price would lead to a large fall-off in demand. Specifically, profit maximization (PMAR) occurs when marginal revenue (MR) the extra money brought in by selling one more unit, equals marginal cost MC, the extra cost by selling one more unit, that is max MR equals MC. Figure 9.13. We see where this matching occurs. Prices are listed from $1 to $2 for, say, a soft drink from a vending machine. Naturally, as price goes up, fewer customers partake as the price in column 1 goes down. Quantity sold in column 2 goes up. The third column represents the variable or marginal cost of one for a unit, and the fourth column shows revenue, price X, quantity. The final column represents marginal revenue. These numbers are computed as follows. The 1.50 is 830.50 to 200, 200 to 100. The 1 $450 to $350, 300 to 200, and so on. Marginal cost was stated to be 1, and marginal revenue achieves when we price our 1.50, thus covering cost nicely. What is formula for cost, volume, profit? The key CVP formula is profit, revenue, cost. Of course, to be able to apply this formula, you need to know how to work out your revenue. Retail price, number of units, plus you need to know how to work out your cost. Fixed cost plus unit variable cost and number of units. Customers and the psychology of pricing. Chapter 9, Pricing. Our pricing discussion thus far has involved some strategies thinking and a lot of number crunching. Yet, any model you'll ever see, marketing, statistical, economic, etc., will be of the form. Psychological pricing is a strategy approach that leverages human psychology and cognitive biases to influence consumer perception and behavior regarding prices. It involves setting prices in a way that resonates with consumers on a subconscious level, making them more likely to make a purchase.